Hello dear students, welcome back to the NCRT Science class of 6th standard. Dear students, in the previous class we have completed the topic electricity. The fun with the electricity that we have studied. The electricity and its circuits that we have studied in the previous class. And also we have discussed the exercise parts. We know that electricity is a form of energy that is produced due to the movement of electrons. Yes, in which lot of points we have studied. That is the electrical device, that is electric device like the electric cell or the dry cell. We have studied the structure and the how the electricity is produced in the dry cell, that due to the chemical reactions the electricity is produced in the dry cell, that we have studied. Now after this one we have studied the electric bulb, the structure of electric bulb, that contains a glass ball and a metallic end in which the two wires are present embedded, and these two wires are connected with a string of minute wire that is called as the filaments, and that is electric bulb is applicable for the production of electric current or the light. Electric bulb is a device which is used to produce the electric which is used to produce the light, and electric cell is a device which is used to produce the electricity that we have studied. And we have studied the electric circuits, how to connect the electric circuit, the different conditions. We have studied how to connect the electric cell or the dry cell with the bulb to glow the bulb. We have studied the different conditions, and we have studied the electric cells, electric circuits, how to connect the electric circuits also we have studied. In 4th or in 7th standard you will study detail about the electric circuits and with the symbols. Yes, then after this one we have studied the electric materials also. For example, that is conductors and insulators, that we have studied in the previous class, and also we have studied the exercise also. For that you should have to complete the exercises. The next, dear students, now we are going to start a new topic, that is motion and measurement of distance. Motion and measurement of motion and measurement of distances. Motion and measurement of distances. See what happens, dear students. Motion means, measurement means of distances. See, in this topic we will study the meaning of motion and measurement, how to measure the motions and the measurement of distances. In this topic we will learn how to measure the distances. Suppose for example, if you are going to the school from your house, and you will say what the distance you covered while walking. You will go by the walk, you will go by the bicycle, or you will go by the bike, or you will go by the bus and all. You will tell that I came from that much of distance. For example, I came from 15 kilometers so far from here. Like that, you will say that distances, that motion, the distance is created due to the motion. When you show the motion from your house to the school, when you move from your school to house or house to the school, you covered a distance. Then you will say the distance covered, that you have the measurement idea. Yes, that you will study in this topic, you will come to learn. See what happens to your students. You may wait. During summer vacation to the relatives' houses and all, on vacation from your native place it may be so far distance. Suppose for example it is very near, you will go by the walk. If it is little far, you will go by the vehicles, or you will go by the buses and all. And if it's so far, you may go for example interstate, like suppose for example it may of interstate. See, if you go by the interstate, what happens? From one state to another state, you will go by the buses. If it is so far again, see, thousands together kilometer, if it is distance is there, then you will go by the trains and all. If it is more than that, you will use the planes. You may go by the planes for the vacations and all, for your to your grandparents, to meet your grandparents during the vacations, summer vacations and all. You may have the idea. Yes, it may be. It is the traveling or the motion. It is depends on the length that we are covered. Isn't it? Next, dear students, here you may read in the newspaper also the Mangalyaan, that the spacecraft has sent to the Mangal. That is the total distance. Maybe you read in the newspaper what are the distance from the Mars and the Earth, Jupiter to the Earth, Mercury to the Earth. Yes, you may read that in the newspaper that much of distance is there, and our spacecraft, Mangalyaan spacecraft, is covering that much of distance every day, and it reaches to the particular day. That you may read in the newspaper. Isn't it? Now you may read in the geography book that is the distance of Earth to the Sun to the Moon. That much of distance is there. Isn't it? Depending on the position, in between the two bodies, the distance is varied, or the different distances are there. Yes. Next, dear students, see, in the ancient time, the people used to go or to travel by walk. They go by walk for a very far distances. In the ancient time, they will go by the walk, isn't it? Next, later they will come. The idea comes in their mind, that is, they can use the animals. For example, horse, camel, the different animals they use for to walk, to travel for a so far distances, or for a long distance. They will travel by they use the different animals. First they went by they moved by the walk, and next slowly they think to walk. They will go by the animals, horse, camel, and different animals they use for the traveling. Next, slowly they start to invent the carts, or by using the simple carts they are given. See, bull carts and all they use, and to take the materials from one place to another place with the help of bull carts and all carts. Yes, in Hindi we are saying the bail gadi, or in Kannada, other languages, Ettini gadi, in different languages we are seeing. They use in the ancient time, in the older days and all. See, what are the people use the different ways to travel. First they walk. When they use after this one, they start to use the animals like donkeys, horse, camel, and all. Then after this one, they started to invent the simple carts like bull carts and all. They start to travel by the bull carts and all. Then after this one, dear students, and they started to travel by the water. They use the woods to travel through the water. See, by this they invent the boats, simple boats, with the help of by joining the number of boats, the number of woods, and then later they invent the huge boats and all, the ships and all. They invented nowadays the ships are invented, and they are going by the ships and all, isn't it? On terrestrial way, they will go by the ancient time walk or animals, and next by bull carts and all. Then next after this one, from the water they will use the simple woods, floating woods they use for the traveling. Then they use the the simple boats, and they invent the huge boats only by seeing the structure of fish. By seeing the structure of fish, which is a streamlined body. Streamlined body, you know that streamlined body, which fore end is sharp and hind end is short, middle end is a dome shape. That is what has the streamlined body. Streamlined body, and they invent the boat in that shape to rush with the current of water. Yes. Next, dear students, after this one, they invent the wheels to the vehicles. Different type of wheels they use, make great change. Mode of transport and the designs of wheels improved over the thousands of years. The animals were used to pull the carts. The animals they used to pull the carts and all. Then after this one, they begins of the beginning of the 19th century. So what happens? The people depends on the animals, boats and ships and all to transport them from one place to place, and they invent the steam engines. See, to travel from for a so far distance, very far distance, the people they invent the steam engines. Steam engines. With the help of steam, the machines starts to move. That is steam engine. That is train was invented in the 19th century. Before the 19th century, what happens? They invent the train, and that they carry the materials and the things and the passengers and all for the so far distance by train. Yes. Then next, railway, roads and all they tried in next after the 19th century. 20th century, what happens when the beginning of the 20th century or in 1900, the aeroplane was discovered by the Wright brothers, isn't it? First they walk by the land and all. They use the bull carts, animals, later bull carts and all carts. Then they will start to go by the waterways by using by inventing the boats. Then they after this one for so far distance means near about 2000 together distance kilometers together distance that will covered by the trains and all or the steam engines. Then after this one they invent in 19th century. After the 19th century in 1900, what happens? The scientists invent the spacecraft that is aeroplanes for inter-countries or the internations to travel for a so far distance near about thousands together kilometers that will travel by the aeroplanes. They use the aeroplanes and all. And after this one, spacecraft to go for the space or to go to the different space centers, ISRO and NASA space centers, that is going on by the spacecrafts. That is going on by the spacecrafts and all. Yes. Next, dear students, how wide the distance. See, now here, see that is the story about the traveling of distance, so shortest distance, far distance, means how the peoples used to travel the distance. That we have studied from the ancient time, how they used the materials to travel, how they traveled from so far distance and all that we have studied. Next, dear students, now how wide is the distance desk and all that he has given. See, measurement of distances. Now we saw that in the beginning what happens, we have saw that the materials they use to travel the distance that we have studied. The inventions of the devices or the equipments or the materials or the carriers to travel the distances that we have studied. Next study, students. Here, after this one, the measurement. Now we are going to learn the measurement of distances. Suppose, for example, if you are coming from your native to the school, you are telling in, that is, we came from 2 kilometer distance. Yes, you will not say that 2 millimeters of distances. There is a distance that you will say that 2 kilometer distance. Yes, and for measuring the length of a book, we will say that is centimeter, 20 centimeter, 10 centimeter. The length of book, we can't say that is 20 kilometer of distances. See, that we are going to learn now here. See, he has begins in your text, he has begins. From ancient time, the peoples used different units to measure. See, one activity has given. The one teacher, and story has given. One teacher grouped the students. One teacher in a classroom grouped the students into two groups. He told to measure the length and the width of the desk and the length and width of the table. Then people use the different materials to measure the distances. Some people they use the pages and all. Some students they use the different strings and all. Then some students they brought the chini dandi, that we can say the pole and the stick they brought to measure. The poles they brought, chini dandi we can say in Kannada language chini pani and all. They brought the different chini dandi and all. They measure the distance. One group brought the chini dandi. They measure the distance and they told the report to this teacher. So that much of distance it is there on the table. The table is having particular that length. Then another group brought another chini dandi of different length, and they start to measure, and they will also report that is. They also answer that distance is different. Means, see what happens. The chini dandu that the students are playing, that we are playing, it is of different length. It is not giving an exact answer, isn't it? Next to dear students, that's why, see, the problem was created. And next, after this one, from ancient time, the people used to gilli dandi and all, we can say the different measurements they use. And after this one, some students they brought the strings or threads. They start to measure. From the thread, they will not give the particular units. That means the distance. They will show that much of distance is there. That is like the length is that much of that of the table is that. They will say means it is not a particular or a specific, isn't it? Next, some students they measure with the feet and all, with the help of the fist and all. That is not a standard unit to say the measurement of the table, isn't it? Next, dear students, see that may be a variant, that may be a different. See, in our everyday life, we are coming to the different experiences. See, when we go for this stitching the clothes in the tailor shop, the tailor uses the standard units to measure the clothes, to cut the stitches and all. We are seeing. Then after this one, see that carpenters, by keeping the pencil on the air, he is measuring the distance or the length of the woods and all. Carpenter is using the scale, particular scale, isn't it? Then after this one, the farmers also, see, he is having the particular idea or the specific idea about his land, how much the land is. with my fever, then how much that seeds have to purchase for the sowing and all. The farmer is having the length of the idea of the length of the his farms or the land. Yes, then after this one, the length of the string lines is from the top to your head. See, while measuring the medical checkup or the physical checkup in the school, they measure the length, your body weight and length also they will check up. See, you will the measurement will taken from the tip of the head to the toes or the feet. Isn't it? In a different scale they will measure. Isn't it? The next, dear students, see in all the aspects, how long the room. See, we will measure the length of the room. Also, we can say that much of length. The room size is that much. We can say. Then desk, the length of the desk. Then the distance from the Delhi to the Lucknow or Kolkata to the Bangalore or Chennai to the Bangalore to the Mumbai, the distance we are telling. Every day we are using the measurements or we are using the units for the measurements. How far the distance we covered. I came from my house or my village to the school of 5 kilometer distance. Yes, we are saying, and how far the length, height, that we can say 170 centimeter and all. Yes, the different measurements we can measure in everyday life, isn't it? Next, for some particular measurements he has given. See what happens, dear students, from ancient time what happens, dear students? One activity is here. In your textbook he has given one activity. The teacher of a class of the teacher of a class of 6th standard, he grouped the students into 2 groups, and he told to measure the length of the classroom. One group, they measured the length of the classroom with their feet, and another group they use the feet and they cubed the length. Feet and spans they use the different and some peoples they use the different handspan, and one group they use the length, measure the length of classroom with the feet. One group measure the length of the classroom with the feet, and another group with the help of handspan they measure the distance. In both the cases, and different students they started to measure. See the students who measured with the feet, one student measured with the feet. What happens? He gave one particular record. Then next another student came and measured, his record is different. Then students he measured the distance of classroom and the length of the classroom with the handspan. Then another student the length with the handspan of the other students, that will be different. It means it depends on the length or the width or the length of that handspan or the length of the feet of the students, which depends on the different students. That is another standard unit, isn't it? Next, dear students, now after this one, a standard unit was discovered in 1790 the French creates a standard unit of measurement called metric system. That is metric system. In French in 1790, French, the scientists, they invent or they discover or they suggest a metric system, standard unit. See, suppose for example, if you are going to purchase a cloth, if we measured with the help of that we can say a cubit, that is from tip of the finger to the elbow, that is cubit we can say, with the help of fist or if with the help of feet. If we measure, the distance will be different in the different peoples, isn't it? There may be a loss or there may be a benefit. That's why first time in 1790 in French they suggested or they invent a standard unit that is called as the metric system, isn't it? By which, see, before that French invention of the measurement of distance, before that, see, the peoples use the different methods for the measurement. They use the feet, they use the handspan, and one record is there in Indus valleys, Indus civilization, Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, that maybe you are studying in the history. There they also use the standard units for the measurement. Yes, the record was available, evidences was available from the Indus valleys. See, they use the different materials for the measurement, standard materials they use for the measurement. And before that, the peoples use the cubits. Cubits means the distance from the toe, distance from the tip of the finger to the elbow. Yes. Then after this one, the foot means the length of the tip of the toes to the total, that we can say that feet length we can say. Then after this one, the clothes are measured, the peoples measure the yard of the clothes, the distance between the end of the outstretch, see, that is tip of the finger to the that much they will measure, that is called as the yard, up to the distance from the tip of the finger to the yard, that much of distance, isn't it? That is called as 1 yard, then that is 1 cubit, then 1 feet, and another one that is 1 fist, isn't it? Musti, that we can say 1 fist or even 1 angle, that is 1 angle that we can say in different language. They are saying different angle and all. To overcome in different peoples, what happens? The length may be different. Some people is having the long cubit, in some is having a very short cubit. To overcome from this problem, the French has invented a system that is called as the metric system. Later, the different scientists of the different countries, they gathered and they invent or they discovered a standard unit. They suggest to use a standard unit that is called as the International System of Unit. International System of Unit. International System of Unit, or SI unit we can say. The SI unit of distance is meter. SI unit of distance is meter. Like that we can say. SI unit of the long distance, kilometer and all. Yes, like that we have given the units for the measurements and all. The remaining we will study in the next class.